Okay, let's unpack this a bit. When you think about online betting, you probably think odds, maybe bonuses,
Yeah, the flashy stuff. But, well, behind the curtain, there's something else entirely going on.
something much, much bigger, like a hidden world operating just beneath the surface of those apps and websites.
Exactly. It's kind of an invisible data battlefield, you could say. A really sophisticated game being played with your information.
Right, and that's what we're digging into in this deep dive, using insights from sources like the online betting data arms race.
Hmm.
We want to figure out how these betting companies are actually collecting and, more importantly, using your data in this hidden contest.
And it really starts with, well, basically everything you do on their platform.
Everything.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Every click you make, every bet, obviously, the size of that bet.
Okay, that makes sense.
But also, get this, even the tiny pauses you take before deciding, it's
Yeah.
all logged meticulously.
Pauses. Wow. Okay, so they're collecting all this stuff. But why? It's not just for, like, making the website work better, is it?
Oh, no, no. It goes way beyond basic analytics. This data, it's the fuel. It feeds these incredibly complex predictive models.
Predictive models, like guessing what I'll do next.
Precisely. Think of software trained on, billions of past actions from everyone, trying to figure out what you specifically are likely to do. Will you bet again? On what game? How much?
Oh, yeah.
And these models, well, they're built with one main goal: predict your behavior to keep you playing, keep you engaged on their site for longer.
Right. Keep you there. And that drive, that's what creates this data arms race you mentioned.
Exactly that. It's intense, multiple platforms, all competing fiercely, and data is basically their main weapon. It's not a static thing either, it's constant.
And the people they hire for this,
Yeah,
it's not just standard tech folks, is it?
not at all. We're talking behavioral scientists trying to understand the why behind your clicks.
Okay.
Top-tier machine learning engineers building those complex prediction engines. And, well, the sources even mention people like ex-NASA analysts applying their skills. Ex-NASA, seriously, to figure out betting patterns.
Yeah. Applying that kind of analytical power to predict user behavior.
That's wild. So how far does this competition actually go?
Well, it turns out it's not just about analyzing their own users. Some sources say companies actively spy on their rivals
Why?
using techniques like scraping competitor apps, basically pulling public data automatically from rival sites. To track things like how bonus structures are changing, trying to decode payout patterns, maybe even seeing how fast users on other sites are placing bets. It's competitive intelligence.
Okay, but why go to such lengths? Spying, hiring NASA analysts? It seems extreme.
Because the stakes are just incredibly high. In this market, even a tiny, tiny advantage, like predicting behavior just 0.1% better than the next guy,
Yeah.
that can mean millions. Millions of dollars in extra revenue. That's the kind of value they put on understanding exactly what you'll do next.
Wow. 0.1% is worth millions. And it even extends into the shadows, like with affiliates, the partners who send traffic to these sites.
How do they fit in?
They're not just seeing who converts best. They share data, sometimes indirectly, about patterns across platforms. So if lots of people suddenly bet heavily on one outcome via affiliates, some providers might quietly tweak their odds in real time based on that wider market view from the affiliates. It's another layer of data influencing things.
So if I'm using one of these apps, what does this whole hidden system mean for me, for the average user?
It means essentially you're part of this huge ongoing experiment, a real-time psychological and mathematical test.
An experiment.
Yeah. Your clicks, your choices, your betting habits,
Yeah.
the behavior is constantly being measured, modeled, turned into data points.
And monetized. Not just by the one side I'm on.
Right, by potentially an entire industry sort of watching and reacting from these digital shadows. They all learn from the collective patterns.
And they're always getting better at it, presumably.
Constantly improving, the models get refined, the predictions get sharper.
So the core message we're getting from the material is, if you want to actually understand the world of online betting, you can't just look at the surface.
Exactly. You have to grasp this underlying system, this engine built entirely on data, your data.
Yeah. I think the key takeaway here really is, while you're sitting there, maybe sweating the odds or watching the game, there's this massive unseen operation behind the scenes, and its entire focus is just watching you.
It really flips the script, doesn't it? Leaves you with that thought. You might be watching the odds, but the house is definitely watching you.